You enter to find a ghost sitting before you. Littered around the room are countless familiar scrawlings. Read the page. Crew wanted. Able-bodied crew wanted for dangerous expedition. Glory to be had in the event of success. Shaw? She must not have it? Interview? Speak to the old captain. You wouldn't happen to have a light, would you? Hunt, is that you? In the flesh, my friend. That's Captain Shaw. You have a lot to answer for, Hunt. Holy heck! I'm sure you have an infinite questions. He looks up at your head. Don't suppose you saw my hat on your way over here? Dog ate it. Well, isn't that something? Ha! Was that a diagram of the timeline divergences? Something. It was something. Never liked that hat anyway. Bit aggrandizing, don't you think? How's my ship? Give her... right where you left it, give or take a few leagues beneath the ice. May the seas soothe her spirits. I hope she put up a fight. I suppose it's wrong to call her my ship anyway. Which reminds me, Templeton told you about Minerva, no doubt. He brought it up, yes? I figured as much. Minerva's story is a rather tragic one. Are you sure you want to hear it? Let him continue. Beautiful beyond reproach. You'd swear you'd never seen someone so idyllic. Anyway, the young starlet originally found herself at the helm of an illustrious stage career. Following that came business offers, modeling, advertisements, and of course, love. Well, doomed love. She was widowed, you see, not before winning the heart and the hand of a son of a little tin foods company. Get to the fucking point. Where is she now? Haven't seen her in years. Templeton seems to carry out her dealings. She's very protective of her identity. I might have taken Minerva the rest of her life, but, well, let's just say the Appertons have their hands in a lot more than tins of peaches these days. That still doesn't explain what she wants with the Viscount. The Viscount's expedition was a government affair. Deduction would say Minerva would like to keep whatever she finds for herself. Get ahead of the game, as it were. What's so special about the ship itself? I have some questions of my own I need answered. First, Robin. Now, I want to know, which Shaw is speaking to me right now? Robin Shaw, who else would it be? How are the Stoke brothers faring? Alive and well? No thanks to you. That's good to hear. You made land after the sail, I assume. How is everyone else? How did you fare on the ice? Kasha dropped her camera during the climb. We avoided disaster, but the camera was lost. Drat, that camera's the most important item on this expedition. It's the only way any of this will be believed. Yeah, we'll have enough eyewitness testimony. I certainly hope so. And then the kennel master attempted to leave the expedition once we made land, but I talked her out of it. Not easy to do. You must have made a convincing argument. And I'll be sure... the doctor managed to stay with us at least. He found his nerve out on the ice. Now that is pleasant to hear. He was the only crew member I was unsure of. I didn't want to upset his father by getting the poor boy killed. Not that any of that matters now. And then I'm sure you'll be thrilled to learn Mr. Templeton is fine. Heh, I expected as much. Has he given you much grief? Actually, Mr. Templeton has been a valuable ally through all of this. Is that so? Maybe I should work on my interview technique. Now I have questions of my own. Of course. I'm sure you're wondering what led me here. You might be able to tell. It isn't a particularly hopeful answer. I failed my men. Less dramatics, please. How are you still alive? Yes, of course. Well, there was the four of us, as I'm sure you quickly figured out. Smurf, Corbett, Joe, and myself grabbed what we could and headed off in one of the larger lifeboats. Why did you abandon us? Where are the others now? Smurf was the first to go. They knew what they were doing. They made their choices, and now they have passed. I need details. He looks wistfully at the table. The custom of the sea occurred. What on earth does that even mean? Enough vagaries, Hunt. Speak more direct. It was Corbett's idea. There was protest, but after we learned that the tins were poisoned with lead, we had no choice. Oh, they ate each other! There's always a choice, Hunt. The other two argued over partaking. Smurf refused. Instead of subjecting himself to further tins, he didn't last long after that. He turned sour by the fourth day and attacked us, then froze himself. Corbett and I made it to the mountain, and then she made the impossible choice. She offered herself to the mission. The man goes quiet. I can't get the taste out of my mouth, Shaw. No matter what I do, I think I'm gonna be sick. You don't understand, Shaw. Every time this happens, my road always leads here, no matter what. He's in a time loop! It's Live, Die, Repeat with Tom Cruise. It always leads to this. You've seen that tree outside, haven't you? A fruit? This is all for a fruit? You know it's not just that, don't you? This is what the Appertons have been after. We're here for this. All roads lead here, Shaw. What's so special about it? I have eaten of this fruit countless times, and yet I'm still here. We've heard this conversation countless times, a different me, a different you, but the same. We keep coming back here. Do you regret your choices, Shaw? Remember you told me the sign of a good leader is willpower. Do you stand by that? Do you know how hard it's been to convince these idiots that I actually give a shit about any of them? I do. That's commendable, Robin. The worst thing any one of us can do, Robin, is become the consequence of somebody else's plan. Maybe you've been the best Shaw you can be, maybe not, but you still can be. He gestures towards the fruit. With this, you can go back, change the path to me. I don't believe you. You don't have to. Every time I've eaten this fruit, every past loop comes freshly back to my mind, and then I send my mind back once more. You can do the same, Robin. You can go back again. You won't really remember, but part of you will want to try something else. Some things will stay the same. We always get stuck. The temperance is always lost. But you can save lives, save rations, perfect your leadership. This is an interesting way to loop the game. I think it's really neat. If you eat the fruit, that is, open up that eye of yours. He pushes the fruit forward. What do you say, Robin? I don't trust it. I'm leaving. Well, at least this means that you're proud of your choices. We should head out, Robin. We have people waiting, I understand. It's been an age since I've seen my crew. Oh, but before we do, that tree out there, do you plan on taking it back to the Appertons? Something like that can't exist. I don't know, I'll need my crew's input. Of course. Me, on the other hand, I'm going to burn it to the ground. Alright? Are you ready for the big reveal? What do we say? Yes, let's just do it. Here we go. I'm eager to see the look on Templeton's face. Up we go. To the crew. Two of you pace towards the rest. Templeton is the first to notice you. As predicted, the look on his face is a unique concoction of shock, anger, and mortification. Templeton, I appear to have found your lost captain. Other heads rapidly turn in your direction. One by one, they abandon their work and rush to assemble to see the sight themselves. I've captured the traitor Rufus Hunt! We certainly have a lot to clear up before we continue. Aye, that's a bloody understatement. Bloody hell, it's actually him, walking corpse! The others begin to mutter frantically. Hunt, you're still alive. Ah, the doctor made it. Ah, the doctor made it. Good, I need you to fix up my teeth. Excuse me? He survived this entire time? I'm going to struggle to convince people my report is true at this rate. This is, quite the shock. Hunt whispers to you. I knew the look on his face would be worth it. But, perhaps you would like to clarify our situation? Aye, I would like to know what happened myself. Gods, is that Grimly? Ah, it's good to see you again. Where are the rest, Hunt? The rest. Smurf, Corbett, Joe, where are the rest? They didn't make it. All these years, and just like that, they're gone. They at least receive good deaths? As best they could, Grimly. Now is not the time to dwell on those gone. Captain. Yes? No, Captain Shaw. How in the world did you find this man? He was just sitting there. I found him in the captain's cabin. Has he enlightened you as to why he left? Aye, you said the bastard was missing. What the hells did he leave then? Hammond's right. Why'd you leave, Hunt? Show some respect. Hunt told me his plan to go get ahead of us and destroy the Viscount. Templeton eyes Hunt with venom. He didn't trust Templeton to not try to stop these plans, of course. Captain, I think it's time we open the floor to the rest of the crew. Something tells me many of them have words to share. Junior takes a run at the captain before being held back by his brother. You left us! Why? I didn't plan on going home. None of us were going to come back. That's it? And why couldn't you bring us too? Why even plan that? Do you want those answers, Junior? Stop defending the man, damn it. Why didn't you trust us, Hunt? Why didn't you tell them, Hunt? They've served you for years. It's more more complicated than that. I do trust them. I do, but you're both young. I had to take the oldest, my top men. We aren't your top men? Well, that's... After all this time, we had the wrong idea, Grimly. I have nothing left to ask, Captain. Hunt, why did you bring me aboard this expedition? Excuse me? Doctor, this is hardly the time to work out your own insecurities. The floor is open, Templeton. Quite so. Hunt, I've been asking myself that question since you left, since I saw you leave. Pardon you what? You saw Hunt leave and you didn't stop him? He couldn't stop Hunt and his men. What does it matter if he saw him? We won't hold that against you, Arthur. I know, but I still need to know. I remember that. You looked like a frightened deer when you saw me ready to go. Take the red pill. Is that why you brought me on board? Because I couldn't stop you? Because I was young, naive, easily manipulated? It is, isn't it? Hunt tilts his head in confusion. Hells no. Oh? No, it was a favor to your father. He's my barber. That's it? That's the entire reason? Aye, he's very good. Asked me to toughen his boy up a bit. Seems like it's done the trick. Kasha lets out a small chortle before covering her mouth to stop herself. Arthur did that himself. To be honest, I was worried from the beginning that my father was involved, and yet, after all that's happened, I'm actually relieved the real reason is so benign. This entire time it didn't matter. I put more thought into why I was here than Hunt ever did. The doctor has no choice but to laugh at the absurdity of it all. We're getting away from the point at hand. Anyone else apparently require a psychological evaluation? Templeton's getting cranky. You turn back to the crew to find yourself face to face with Hammond. He darts past you and confronts Hunt. Enough bloody games! You should have gone down with the ship. That's tradition, you coward. Tradition would want us all dead. Best not to follow that now, I think. No more jokes, Hammond. Hunt, Hammond's right. Watch your mouth, Hammond. What about Hunt watches himself? He left us to die, bastard. Indeed, to pick and choose when tradition matters, it's shameful, no? At least Shaw sees sense. The crew are still looking to you to make sense of all this. Is there anything you would like to add, Captain Shaw? No one else has any qualms to settle. Take this opportunity to come clean about events past. About our benefactor? Their name is Minerva Apperton. She owns the Tinned Food Company. The tinned food. As in the peaches? I spent an age trying to uncover information on the mysterious benefactor. You mean to tell me that we were eating from their tins this entire time? Curious, why would a tinning company invest in such a mission? Ridiculous. Seems our captain is suffering from some kind of delirium. A tinning company? Absurd. Templeton was the one who told me he's lying. I've lost his loyalty. Very well. It's irrelevant anyway. This mission is indeed sponsored by the Apperton Tinning Company. And just why is Minerva Apperton interested in retrieving a lost research vessel? None of that seems the business of a tinned food company. I cannot say myself. There are some things even I am left in the dark on. Is there anything else you would like to disclose now that we seem to be trading privacies? If no one else has any qualms to settle, we should move on. Cannot wait around here forever, Captain. This ship, this tree. What is our next course of action? Isn't it about time you told them about the tree? Hunt, what do you know of this? I'm not sure you're very interested in knowing. Or I'm sure you're very interested in knowing, Richard. Anyone would be. This is what your employer seeks. The fruit of this tree. It changes everything. It will change the world. The fruit? Yes. I've tasted the fruit countless times, and I've seen countless paths to this moment. My word. He's truly gone insane. Templeton needs a nap. No surprise that the man has lost his mind. Isolation out here, it could happen to anyone. Insane or no, this tree is unnatural. There is something wrong with it. I will say that. It is growing out of a ship. That much we can agree with. It's fascinating. Listen to me. To hell's with the Appertons. They can't be allowed to have this. Nobody should. What are you suggesting? It needs to be destroyed. Burned to the ground. What? Hunt? This is quite possibly the most important discovery of our age. It needs to be studied. Barring that, you were hired by the Appertons to retrieve it, not to decide your own ethical judgment. We should take some time to think this over. I doubt we will reach an agreement there, Shaw. Regardless, I'm the captain of this expedition and my word is final. A long silence falls among the proceedings. Rufus Hunt, you are not the captain of this expedition. What? Then who is? Shaw? Bah! Shaw's the first mate. That was a temporary agreement. I've returned and I've reclaimed my role. Unfortunately, Hunt, I've read our contracts quite thoroughly. Templeton produces a copy from his jacket pocket. He's just got his contract on him at all times. Ahem. In the event that the captaincy is held in contention, the correct course of action is to hold a vote. Any officer of the crew may put themselves forward to claim the title. Then that's what we'll have. The crew will decide for themselves. A vote? I welcome it. The contract also states that the candidates should put forward their selection for the first mate position. That selection of first mate is allowed to make their case to the crew in an open forum as to why they should select their paired candidate. Huh, good luck with that. Best get to it then. Come on, you lots. A captain's vote requires a deck. Board now, and let's end this. Alright, we're all on the boat now? The crew tentatively boards the vessel. Proceedings commence. Vote for the captaincy. We're all covered in the flower petals. That can't possibly be good. Hunt, we're no need for introductions. We're far past that point for that. There's so much I've seen in all my days leading vessels like this, the sorts you lot would hear songs of, and no doubt every word of. What I've seen here, it goes far beyond any of that. What stands before you is so much bigger than any of us. I've walked this path before, so many times. Half of you can attest to that. I understand if you look at me as a deserter, a coward, a traitor, you have every reason to. Ben, you're still streaming? I am. I wanted to finish the story. We're very close, I think. You should ask yourselves where you stand, where the road you took, always here with me. Even in my absence, I always led you to where you needed to be. He clears his throat before pointing to the tree. This thing is an abomination. The power it holds is too great for any one person to possess. He holds up the fruit. If you wish to hand this quite little fruits of our labor over to the employer who would have us die out here for their games, the employer who would not even entrust you their name, an employer who would leave us out to die on the ice, who would refuse to send rescue? There's a murmuring between the crew at the implication that a rescue ship was not sent. Robin Shaw was a fine officer, but Shaw could only hold down the fort in my stead. Shaw did not weather the seas. Shaw did not discover the Viscount. I did. You should judge Shaw in the officer's own words. When we last spoke on the temperance, Shaw told me that the mark of a leader comes in willpower. I ask you, what has willpower gotten you over a solid, proper plan? Do you think the will of Robin Shaw can carry you any further? Now I believe it's my time my first mate said a few words. Grimly steps up. We'll keep it short. Captain Rufus Hunt is a man who I would trust with my life, always has been. When Junior and I were kids, he took us in when we had nowhere else to go. Since then, he's been the best captain we could have worked for. Shaw couldn't live up to that standard. Shaw would even rip music from us to have their own way. If you trust me, you should trust Hunt. Grimly steps down. Thank you, Grimly. I believe it's your turn to speak, Shaw. You step forward as the crew awaits with bated breath. Hunt has already had his chance to speak. Now it's your turn to refute his words. There's a stillness in the air. You have traveled so far with this crew, and now they stand, all seem to be hoping that your next words will instill in them a confidence, an assurance that all this time spent with you has been worth the trouble. You pause, collecting yourself for a moment before making your first statement. It's good to see you, all of you here with, yeah, walk through hells together. We remain intact. We owe this through our teamwork. This is the finest crew I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Hell's that Rufus Hunt thrust us into, lest we forget. I believe the key to leadership is a great sense of willpower, and our journey is plain proof of that. Through it all, I pressed on for the sake of the crew. I can only hope that in doing so I inspired many of you to do the same. I see before me different faces from many different backgrounds. As a muttwash, I never felt I belonged anywhere until now. I like that. I found my people amongst the saltborn, treat me as your own. All of you, this crew stands as a community unto itself. The crew look around, examining each other, taking a moment to consider the souls who have traveled with them to the ends of the earth, the souls they intend to travel back with. I haven't a bad word to say about this lot. Frankly, their music is some of the finest I've ever had the honor of hearing. Thank you. I've had my views on these people from some time, but I see now that I was wrong. Here, we are all brothers in arms. Aye, whatever I thought about landlubbers and imperialists, that shit doesn't matter anymore. We're all one crew, aren't we? Your thoughts turn to the Viscount and the tree sprouting from its back. You must make your intentions clear. We can send an envoy to meet with the rescue ship. I feel like this ship is bad news. We should get rid of it. The time for fear is over. Let us all stand united and plunge ourselves headfirst into the depths. Do not allow yourselves to be tricked. Who will you choose as your first mate? I think it's gotta be Junior, because he can, like, speak to the rest of the crew. And he used to be part of Hunt's crew, and now he's, like, my dude. All my life I'd never served another captain other than Hunt, and until recently I thought that would always be the case. It seems that Shaw made it a mission to prove me wrong, and I have to admit, I was wrong. I look a fool standing here defending someone other than Rufus Hunt, but I'll happily look like a clown if it meant I was finally speaking the truth. If I can't trust Hunt anymore, nobody could, and there's not a soul here stupid enough to ever trust a snake like Templeton. Every week it was Shaw keeping that hoosh spot filled. Every meal you ate, you can thank Shaw for. No one else, not even me. Lads, I'm not going to tell you how to think, but the choice is obvious, isn't it? He steps back. Start the voting process. Here we go. Dead man abstains. Alright, Templeton has voted for me along with the science crew. Also, Arthur Nutley and Kurt Darling and the entire scout team. Grimley is still loyal to Rufus, of course. Junior should be loyal to me. The engineers, I think he wasn't loyal to me yet. And then Cordell should be, and then Kasha is for sure. So it's a 5 to 16 to 3. We've done it. Templeton looks pissed as hell. I didn't notice that before. As the vote comes to a close, Hunt stares at you in shock. Well, there you have it, Shaw. Suppose I can't argue that, can I? You honestly didn't expect this? I like to think of myself as a smart man, Robin, but I can't see everything coming. Captain Shaw, honestly, I always thought that had a nice ring to it. Hunt's still here. I want to hate him, but honestly, I pity him more than anything. That's no reason to let him go, though. I know Hunt. He can be dangerous. I'm curious on that myself. Well, Shaw, you're the captain. What should you do with me? We'll take him back. You may as well put me to death now, then. I doubt I'll receive a softer sentence on land. We've got stories about plants like this, Captain. The sort written in song, none of them good. Could be coincidence, but I wouldn't want to show anyone this. I wouldn't even want to get close. Well, I'm just the first mate. Real decision's up to you. This cannot be allowed to exist. Burn it down! Good idea on destroying the tree, but there's a problem. You may have noticed the ship just so happens to be attached to that tree. Wood burns all the same. If we set fire to that tree, we're losing the V-count. If it's seaworthy, we'll be throwing away an escape. It's a sacrifice we have to make. We cannot allow anyone to get their hands on this tree. You're right. Okay, we'll get to work. And there it goes! The crew got to work setting the tree alight. You watch eventually as the V-count begins to burn and turn. All that leaves is our exit strategy, Captain. We can't go back the way we came, and at this rate we can't meet with the rescue ship. So, what are we doing? We send an envoy out on the lifeboat, one that can flag down the rescue ship and lead them here. The final decision regarding the ship and its fate must be decided. To be honest with you, Shaw, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this madness. Well, I doubt such knowledge will be out of our hands once we return to land, correct? Still, I suppose we should be proud of our discovery. Couldn't have made it this far without you. Or Crean, or Rosa, or Pascal, or Stanberry. I did not accomplish much on my own, Captain. All I can ask is that my kennel will be remembered. It'll be odd to return to land. My name will be in the papers soon. No doubt I'll be recognized for my past. How is Stanberry faring? She's much more excited to return to land, I believe. I hope we won't need to deliver pups on the ship. I believe we'll find a new home. Start with a new kennel. I've done as much before. I intend to do so again. With any luck, we will not meet again. It's been good knowing you, Cordell. It has been. Interesting, Robin. Promise me you will take care of yourself. Well, thank you. Alright. Let's read these fast. I must be honest, it's a shame you chose to remove the tree. I understand fear of the unknown is a great one. Still, I think the possibilities with this discovery were endless. Well, now we wait. It's out of our hands. But to make it this far? Still, despite it all, I have to commend you, Shaw. We've done something remarkable here. The danger outweighed the benefits. Well, I'll have to take your word on that matter, Captain. I've always fancied myself an expert, Shaw. I'm sure that comes as no surprise to you, but over the course of our expedition, well, it's become clear just how little I truly know, and to be honest, Shaw, that excites me. I'm excited for what lies ahead. I didn't trust the Appertons with it. You don't trust rich people with stuff like this. Well, we'll see how wise that was. You do not know the Appertons as I do. There will be more expeditions. Minerva will not accept that this tree was the only of its kind, and I would be inclined to agree. To be at the forefront of such a discovery, I had my doubts once. I certainly had my doubts on you, Shaw. I hope we have the chance to work together in the future. Our lives may be busy once we turn. We would not need to work together to remain in contact. That is true, though I would likely be able to share of my work in the future will no doubt be limited. Well, I can say one thing with certainty. The future is unknowable. Take care, Robin. No matter what happens here, take care. Alright. My stream has gone on long enough. We're gonna skip over these people, unfortunately. Sorry, everybody. The last life of the Viscount, enough for a skeleton crew. Let's head out to the sea. It's getting late. Wrap this guy up. There it goes. Search for rescue. Speak to Junior. Out on the ocean again. Nothing like the fresh sea air to whip up an appetite. Don't see a damn thing ahead, Captain. Ah, well, at least I have a break from cooking for that lot. Now their lives are in our hands. I'm sure you're looking forward to a better meal once we've hit land. If we hit land. But, yes, I am. Junior gazes out to the water. It's been quite the trip, hasn't it? I miss the open water. Still waters. You're a good captain, Robin. I'm sorry it took me so long to mention that. You're a damn good cook. That's for certain. No disputing that. Thank you, Robin. I'm sure you're sick of my cooking by now, but maybe I'll get to whip up something up for you again before we're dead and gone. Come on, let's find that rescue. Let's do it. Away! A week's hard sail finally gives way to land. The lifeboat makes port. Exhausted, you and Junior spot a building ahead. Disembark. Is it a whaling village? Looks like it. Lights have come on. That's that. Some weeks later. Report's finalized and ready to publish. Are you ready to astound your readers? Almost. One final thing before we publish. And what's that? I'll be removing the final section. About the tree? What? Why? You've got a good story here. A year surviving out on the ice, then all of a sudden I'm reading some unbelievable nonsense about a tree in the coldest part of the world? Come on, Dulford. It's true, I know what I saw. And I know what I'm not seeing. Proof. Why there's no picture of this great discovery. I told you, I lost my camera on the mountaintop. Convenient. Without it, we can't run with this. We'd be a laughingstock. Nobody would buy this without any proof. The Daily Appeal is already a laughingstock, and do you really think I would get trapped in this ice for so long just to come back here and lie? Belford, you can't omit that. No, it's too important. If you do, I'll take my report to another paper. Fine, but if this blows up in our face, it'll be on your head, understood? I wouldn't have it any other way. Kurt, you bloody Egypt! What is it, Clive? I'm left-handed. I'd throw a punch with my left hand. With the current blocking, it would be better if they throw with their right. Then change the bloody blocking, then. Ah, right you are, Clive. Your attention to detail is impeccable. It's what you pay me for. Can you believe it, old chum? 2 weeks and the Tale of the Temperance, our tale will be on stage. Look at this, old scrap-up, just as I remember it. The way you remember it's got more holes in it than cheese. Haha, perhaps I'm getting up there in years. A good thing to grow old, I've learned. Don't you think, old friend? Aye, I do. It's a funny little epilogue that we're going through. Alright. Who ordered the full fry? Oh, Junior's got his own restaurant. That's awesome. Patron raises their hand. Here, Junior, who's the musician? Come on now, can't you see the resemblance? It's my brother Grimly. Can tell him to keep it down if you like. Not at all. He's doing a tremendous job. Ah, you hear that, Grimly? Aye. Always humble. Please, welcome Lady Ingrid Cordelia Weston. Cordell enters the gala to the shock of many. A dog follows her at her side, the woman gently nuzzling the creature's head. Arf, arf. Try not to get too excited, Stanbury. It's only a gala. Lady Weston, what is the meaning of this? Sir, you may call me by my name, but I have no idea who you are. Well, you should know that. I was not asking. You cannot bring a mutt with you. How odd. I seemed perfectly capable of doing so a moment ago. Arf. Yes, yes, this way, Stanbury. Many hands to shake, names to forget, that sort of bother. I would prefer to be home before late. The pups need fed. Cordell moves across the room, her faithful dog in tow. Nutley and Kasha stand at the entrance to the barber shop belonging to Arthur Nutley Sr. Nervous? Always, yes. Ha, but you're more or less nervous than usual. Less nervous, more giddy, a good sort of nervous, I suppose? Nutley enters, followed by Kasha. Is that him? He's coming this way. Arthur Nutley Sr. spots his son from across the shop. Arthur? My goodness, is it really you? Father, The doctor isn't able to begin his sentence, interrupted by the barber throwing his arms around him, granting him a constricting hug. It's you, my boy, you're alive! The younger Arthur hesitates, surprised before returning the hug from his father. I am. Does your mother know? Your sister? Unless they've read it in the paper. Speaking of, I wrote something for you. He hands his father an envelope. Please read it, sometime when I'm not here. Of course, I will. Kasha clears her throat. Pleased to meet you, sir. Kasha Belford. I don't think I didn't notice you. How do you know my son? I hope he hasn't gotten himself into trouble. Arthur? In trouble? Hardly. Father, Kasha and I are, well, I think you see that we're an item. Yes. Arthur Sr. pauses for a moment before a grin appears on his face. Son, you have been busy. Come, sit. We have much to hear. Is there anybody left? The old scientist ponders the table before him. He lights a cigarette. I's smoking! Mr. Templeton, you wish to speak with me? Yes, do not worry, this won't take long. Out with it then. Minerva Apperton, I, Richard Templeton, hereby tender my resignation. This is sudden. I assure you that it is not. I have given this a great deal of thought. I intend to leave your services, effective immediately. Very well. Will that be all? Will that be all? Is there anything else you need of me? No. On reflection, there is nothing else I need from you. Minerva Apperton exits the greenhouse. Templeton breathes a sigh of relief. He just quits. Good ending story for Templeton. Hunt waits in his cell. The days have passed by as the once captain of the Temperance awaits his trial. It's horrid, isn't it? Not even a neighbor to keep me company. He speaks to himself in the empty hold, his own voice echoing through the walls. Ah, the stories I could have shared with them would turn your hair white. I wonder, could I do it all again? Suppose it's too late now. He continues his ramblings, not a soul around to answer his pleas. We just got like 50 achievements. Oh, the air was cold. A captain made a pledge. To the ice I prayed, that leads revealed some charted course ahead. Of home I'll reach, of warmth near found, through sail to comfort's bed, a hunger drew the desperate here. It's ones that I have fed. What did I do when steel hearts broke and courage did abscond? I did something that went to the pale beyond. I've led these souls, so help the gods out of the pale beyond. We did it! Good job, team! We only got one guy killed at the very, very beginning of the journey. It's just like Lewis and Clark. That one dude died of like dysentery at the very beginning of the journey, and everybody else did fine. No problem.